Hey, all right. Welcome back to KM6LYW Radio, the show about amateur radio or ham radio, reimagining radio in the information age. Hey, today we're going to talk about the digital speech decoder for your software-defined radio. It's called DSDFME for Digital Speech Decoder Florida Man Edition. And no, it's not just a cool name. This time on KM6LYW Radio. Yeah. There it is. Woo. I don't know when to stop. Yeah, all right. Welcome back. I got a little bit of Pink Floyd action in there. I don't know. I'm working on it, guys. I'm working on the bumper music. All right. Hey, let's talk about DSD Florida Man Edition. We are going to decode C4FM, a Fusion, Yaesu Fusion, and DMR, and even P25, all with one little app and all using a simple software-defined radio. All right, so if you're using software-defined radio, that could be like an RTL SDR or SDR Play. You've probably got some SDR software. In this case, it's SDR Plus. And yeah, you can hear all of the people on ham radio. You're doing ADSB decoding, but every now and then you'll hear like a ham radio signal or maybe a public safety signal. It kind of sounds like a digital jackhammer, and it's like, man, it's really annoying sounding. And what is that? Well, it's probably digital voice, and there's like 3 different varieties out there. They all use basically AFSK, phase shift keying. There is C4FM, that's Yaesu Fusion. There's DMR, that's kind of like for business radio. And then there's also P25, which is kind of more of a generic one. You usually hear that on public safety. But let's figure out how to listen to what those signals actually are. What is the voice, or what do those signals sound like when they're decoded? So there's a few different things you need. First of all, you need to start out with a software-defined radio. These are like $20. RTL SDR is a great one. They make different kinds here. This is a new elect version. It's pretty cool. And I'm going to use an SDR Play device. It's a little more expensive, but it gives you a wider bandwidth. But they all basically work the same. So once you get your RTL SDR plugged into your PC or Raspberry Pi. I'm going to use I actually have a Linux workstation here, but this all applies to Raspberry Pi if you have a Raspberry Pi workstation. So what you need to get is some SDR software. I like SDR Plus. It's pretty cool. We're going to use it in this demonstration today to decode digital voice using DSDFME, which is Digital Speech Decoder Florida Man Edition. Such a cool name. I wish I would have. I'm not that creative. Florida Man Edition. It's totally cool. Now, there's been a DSD out there before, digital speech decoder, but it was kind of hacky. It worked with older versions of the Linux sound system. You had to get ALSA or even DSP audio working. Florida Man took this and just ran with it. It works on all modern Linux distributions now. It works with Pulse Audio. It decodes CF4, FM. It decodes DMR, P25. You don't have to specify in the command line. It just auto-detects it and just plays the audio, decodes the digital voice into analog audio and just plays it on your speakers. Totally cool. And it integrates with SDR Plus. So that's the software you need. You need the RTL SDR hardware. You need SDR Plus. And DSDFME. Now, these are out on GitHub, so just search for DSDFME on GitHub, and then the same thing for SDR Plus. Look this up on GitHub. There's already pre-built packages for this. You are going to have to compile the DSDFME and possibly the MBE, which is the actual digital voice decoder. It's a separate library. It has some patent encumbrances, so I don't know. It depends on your jurisdiction as to how legal that is. But this is ham radio. We need to be able to decrypt all signals. Having encodings that can't be decoded is basically encryption, which is against the regulations, at least in my jurisdiction here in the United States. So let's get this software running. Let's check it out. All right, let's fire up SDR Plus. Really cool amateur radio software. I put this over here. There's a couple of configuration changes you need to make on this guy. Not too hard. What you need to do is enable network audio. Okay, so you can come down here into syncs. In fact, I'm going to zoom this for you guys because I know how brutal this can look. So SDR Plus Plus, come down into syncs, and you're going to see an audio or radio sync. And I want you to change that from audio to network, okay? From audio to network. I have two VFOs. This is the audio one. Then I created another VFO and I called it network, all right? And the important things here that take note of, it's on port 7355. The protocol is TCP. These are critical, guys. And the sample rate is 48000, so 48,000. And then go ahead and start that network sync if you haven't already. You'll see here that it says listening. I'm going to unmute this. Since I have two VFOs, I can get rid of the syncs here. I have a radio one. I use this as my audio sync. Right, I can put my squelch, narrow FM, and then the other VFO I created uses that network sync that I just showed you. And I have this little check mark here to enable or disable the VFO, and you'll see them appear and disappear on your waterfall screen. So network VFO is online, it's on narrow FM, the squelch is off, there's no noise reduction, it is a raw signal. This is the one we want, and this is what the digital speech decoder, FME, is going to decode. So let me see if I can zoom out of that. Yeah, we're getting some production value here, guys. Now I'm going to press play here. See what happens. All right, we got the waterfall started. All right, while we are waiting for some signals to show up, let's get DSDFME running here. Now the command line for this, once you've got it installed, you go to GitHub to install it, is DSD-FME Florida Man Edition dash input is going to be TCP. That's networking. That's what we just set up on SDR Plus. And dash N, uppercase N, and then 2 greater than. I know this is all punctuation, but this means send any standard errors out to /dev null. That's the bit bucket. That's like the Linux trash can. So we don't want to see errors on the screen. So TCP, I think dash N means like a nice N curses interface. So we're going to fire this up. And it is automatically going to connect to SDR++. In fact, if you, we can see it's using Pulse digital audio, which is just awesome now that we can use that rather than the old Linux sound architecture. And it's decoding C4FM, but don't get caught up on that. It's also decoding DMR and stuff like that too. So let's actually I can make this a little easier to read. Now, when you go over to SDR++, you'll notice when you go over to your radio sync, let me go over to syncs, frequency manager. You'll notice it says connected over here. That means DSD is now listening to audio over the network. Okay, that's what that means. So that means you're good to go. Now, all we need now is someone to start talking with a digital voice signal, and then suddenly this will all turn green and we'll hear it on our speakers. All right, I found a digital signal, and it looks like this on the waterfall. It's pretty uniform, and there's no voice on it right now. I don't know, it's just sending telemetry data or something right now, and you can see DSD's turning green here whenever it gets a lock on, and it sounds a lot like this. All right. Digital jackhammer, right? That's what that sounds like. Now, no one's actually talking on it, but when they do, the signal will turn solid, and we're going to hear their voice decoded by DSDFME. So listen for those signals when using your audio VFO, and then switch it over to network. And of course, this is just a regular FM signal with FM voice, and you can hear sounds a lot like this.
I never thought it was cutting edge, but I thought it was funny. Yep, definitely a lot of jump cut edits, which was not appropriate at the time.
So that gives you an idea what a standard analog FM signal sounds like. So let's go find a digital signal and see if we can find decode a digital encoding of someone's voice. All right, they're talking at the casino.
WMA black T-shirt and shorts. He's on 2 Charlie right now.
All right, so you can listen in on business bands, and sometimes there's some interesting conversations there, since those are least frequencies. So that was DMR, and you'll notice that it's all green here on the DSD-FME. You know, it goes between gray and green. So if it's green, that means you're actually decoding some sort of signal. So that was pretty cool. That's what DMR sounds like. But yeah, you sound great here. We've got a great CF4FM system here in Northern California. Go ahead.
I am I'm in a mobile rig right now, and I'm headed to work. I'm going to now go back to monitoring. I'm almost there, so I've got to get out of the car soon. But great to talk to you, Craig, and thanks for the email you sent me with the information on DigiPie. KJ7EIF.
Yeah, all right. Hey, thanks for the shameless plug on DigiPie there. Yeah, let me know how that goes. The whole club's been getting into it lately. So that was a good C4 FM signal. I had to spark up a conversation to get that one to work here. But those guys are active all morning. And so third and finally, I couldn't find anyone actually talking on P25, but this is a P25 P1 signal. We can see that here in DSDFME tells you exactly what the signal is. So basically, this is transmitting nothing or maybe some telemetry data. So we've done all three here. We've done DMR, C4FM, that's Yaesu Fusion. And we've got a P25 signal here, but I don't hear anyone actually talking on it. So we did it, guys. We used DSDFME with SDR Plus and our SDR dongle, and we're totally decoding digital voice. All right, and if you like digital voice, you're going to love digital data, keyboard to keyboard stuff, moving information back and forth using amateur radio, which leads us to the DigiPie. It's an amateur radio transceiver. This thing's like $15. You hook it up to your radio, and it basically turns your amateur radio into a website and gives you access to all of the data modes there are. They've got a big one, a little one. It's hooked up to USB-based radios are really easy. It's got a cool little screen on it, and you can do your favorite modes like APRS, packet, BBS, WinLink email, FT8, JS8 call. All of these modes are available to you over Wi-Fi to a web browser. It could be your Wi-Fi device. That's email, FT8 running and displaying in your web browser. It'll even do CW. So digipie.org, check that out. It goes to patrons of the channel. It's kind of my way to give something tangible back to all of you guys who are doing an amazing job here. I really do appreciate it. It's humbling now. I still don't have a good scroller, but I could scroll on for days. You can see my little pager cursor over there. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. So everyone here gets access to that DigiPie SD card image. Plug it into your radio, and it gives you access to every data mode there is via your Wi-Fi device. It's kind of cool for summits or parks on the air because it becomes a Wi-Fi hotspot. And it's really that simple, and it's cheap. It's easy to use, and everyone here, I can't believe I'm still scrolling, has a copy of this. So there are a lot of people out there using data modes. That could be FT8, JS8 call, packet, bulletin board. DigiPie does whatever you want it to be, basically, and it's all available to you with a Wi-Fi device and a web browser. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for the support, and let me know how it goes receiving digital voice. I know we don't talk a lot about voice on this channel because this is about removing information back and forth, but I just thought that was too cool to pass up. The DSD Florida Man Edition. Hey, my name is Craig. I'm in California. Amateur radio call sign KM6LYW, and I'm clear.